All right, we are live. So I'm Christina. If you don't know me, I am an executive and ADHD coach. I specialize in change management, productivity, and leadership. Many times people are like, those seem like crazy things to be going together. And the answer is they are not. They are absolutely not. They go together very well. And you'd be surprised how much productivity is jeopardized because of poor leadership. I know that that doesn't sound like something that is incredibly common, but it is. So I'm just getting started on a couple other platforms. So let me bring this up real quick. Okay. So today we're focusing on why productivity tools fail ADHD and fast moving brains. There's a lot of reasons, but I'm going to tell you what to do instead. Many times, when people are wanting to be more productive, they will reach for a tool. Organizations do this too. And I shared this on my LinkedIn post a couple of days ago. A majority of enterprise level projects fail, especially tools. When they're being implemented, they're not implemented well, or they're implemented for the wrong reasons. So I want you to know, if you're going through and you're saying, I'm constantly unorganized, I'm not meeting deadlines, I'm chronically overwhelmed, this live is for you. Because when we reach for a tool instead of reaching to understand, that is when the overwhelm gets worse and it gets higher. Because now, on top of the overwhelm that already existed, we're learning a tool. Here's the caveat, here's the additional challenge, I should say. ADHD brains, or brains that are seeking to escape, we want novel. We want something new to reach for. So that is why tools are sometimes the easiest thing to go and grab, because it gives us something else to focus on that's new and challenging, that activates our brains in ways that aren't currently being activated. It gives us some dopamine. And so when we are going through all of these challenges with change, with leadership, with communication, people reach for tools instead of seeking to understand. So if you've ever bought a planner, a tool, a project management system, and abandoned it in the week, yeah, you are not the only person that has done that. So the next thing I want to make sure, I've got notes, because that is who I am. I want to talk about why traditional planning tools fail us. Most tools are very linear and rigid. Many times they can be helpful. So, like, I am a full focus certified pro. I believe in the full focus system. If it works for you, it may not all the time, and that's okay. And that's one of the reasons why I like it, because there are some seasons where people use it for years and then they go back. And so this particular kind of planner is very goal centric. It's has you focusing and seeing your goals daily, weekly, to make sure that you are not only keeping up with them, but moving in the direction that you want to and holding yourself accountable. Not everybody's to that point yet. So if you are struggling to be productive and struggling to lead and struggling with change, focusing on future goals is not always the best first step. So instead of reaching for a new tool with novelty, you might think about different things like, what are your common friction points you're experiencing now? That could be that there's too much friction or challenges or roadblocks to start. It could be that you are going through chronic illness and your energy is shifting all over the place. What are your common areas of failure? What are the common places that you are challenged? Maybe you have a shame spiral that you go through. So I would love to know in the chat, what's the most expensive planner or system you've tried and then dropped? I'll go first. It wasn't expensive, but I really got into Notion. I'm still working through it. I just have scaled back on my attempts. So I was all in, got a huge template of a planner, and got very overwhelmed incredibly quickly. And so the challenge with that particular tool was that it is highly adaptable and flexible to a point where I was so overwhelmed with how things were formatting and what direction I was going, and could end up not being able to find things and create an actual workflow. So that is an area where I have scaled back, and I use it very simply now. It doesn't mean I won't level up in the future. It just means right now, that's not the area that I'm focusing solely on. Many tools were designed for neurotypicals also. And so if you are neurodivergent, meaning you've got dyslexia, you have ADHD, you have autism, a traumatic brain injury, any type of thing that impacts your executive functioning, tools can be a challenge, especially if your brain doesn't necessarily work in the way the tools are built. So that can be a huge issue. So I want to give you some tools that I give my clients when it comes to figuring out how to boost your productivity. The first thing to do is to map your energy. That is the first thing. This is always a shock to people because energy mapping is not exactly on their bingo card when they go and come into coaching. Here's why energy mapping is important. Energy mapping is critical because as you move through your day, your energy ebbs and flows. So like right now for me, it's 3:00 in the afternoon if you're watching the recording. And I usually in the afternoon, I either plummet on my productivity or I start to level up again. It really depends on how my morning went. Surprise, surprise, my morning went really well. It was structured, it was organized, and so my energy is really high. I also didn't have a lot of clients this morning, so my energy is even higher, and I want to engage with others and share the coaching learnings that I've done. This is just me. So energy mapping is key. I have a free energy map you can find on my bio. It'll be right here in the description of this video. And you can go in there and you can start tracking your energy. It's a simple Google sheet. You could do it yourself where you have high, medium, low energy. You get to define what that is. You have the date and you have some quantitative data, meaning a little bit of notes. You're not trying to note the whole day, but you might note and say, had 5 client meetings, very low energy at the end of the day. The next day, at the end of the day, you log it and say, low energy, worked from home. Maybe you start to see a pattern. The goal is to understand how your energy ebbs and flows. If you're somebody who has a monthly cycle, you'll start to notice that your energy ebbs and flows even differently at different parts of your cycle. So this is important to measure your energy so that you are aware about how you're feeling and how it impacts your productivity. And this could impact how you schedule life moving forward. Okay. The second thing is routines for hard days and flexibility. I am somebody who has ADHD, struggles with habits, and I will say that I am also very regimented. There are several days where I still follow my routine, but it has a good, better, best model. The best day, I'm feeling great. My routines are up here. I'm hitting everything. That's the example I use is skincare. I have a 10-step skincare routine. On the best days, I am hitting all 10 steps. On good days, I'm hitting 5. On better days, I'm cleansing, washing my face, and moisturizing. And that's good enough. And that is the basics that I can do. That's the basic level I can do. So thinking about your routines in a good, better, best model can help you move through them. And so you don't feel like you lose them. Often people are plagued with all or nothing or black and white thinking where they either have their routines done perfectly every single day or they're not doing them at all. Y'all, I'm here to say there's gray in between, okay? While structure is helpful for us with ADHD, with autism, or a neurotypical, somebody who doesn't have ADHD, autism, or a neurodivergent brain, structure helps us move through our day because it eliminates the planning from the choosing, which is a huge strain on your executive functioning. So what do? So we've talked about energy mapping. We've talked about good, better, best routines. From there, what we do is think about what kind of frameworks you need to succeed during the day. What does that look like? So these could be planning blocks. These could be hourly schedules. These could be rough directions. These could even look like, for me, I have it so Throughout the week, each day starts the same and I start the workday the same, but the structure of the workday varies depending on what day of the week. Mondays, I start later, but I start with an 8 o'clock phone call with my accountability partner and we talk about our priorities for the week. And then that kicks off into work I'm doing with the Achievement Lab, people who are signed up to work to achieve some of the goals that they've been struggling to hit. So we work on habits, we work on mindset, we work on understanding how our brains work. And if you're interested in that, you can find more information for the Achievement Lab right here in the description. So figuring out what frameworks work for you, and a lot of that comes down to structure. How are you structuring your day? How are you structuring your week? This isn't something we can do overnight. We often feel like we should just be able to flip a switch and routines and habits are immediate. That's not the case. That is something called a lifestyle change. We're not here to do massive lifestyle sweeps. We're here to incrementally improve over time in the direction you want to go. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I know a lot of people don't like that analogy, and it still fits. So we're not aiming for perfection. We're going for repeatable progress. So my question to you, would it help to have a weekly rhythm that actually bends with your energy? So, because first we want to measure our energy. Second, we want to think about a good, better, best model for routines. And finally, you need adaptable frameworks that help you move through the day. Okay. What would help you rhythm-wise that would actually be able to work with your energy and not fight against it? What would that look like? I'd love to hear in the chat. So if you're nodding along, ready to stop bouncing from hack to hack and productivity hack, I will say a great place to start is the Power Up Pass. And for the month of July, which is only 10 more days, when I'm recording this, you can get 20% off of my Power Up Pass or the Achievement Lab, which is the Power Up Pass. Let's talk about that real quick. If you're really wanting some structure support and a little bit of accountability, but not the education, empowerment, and those types of things, if you're just looking for a place to start, the Power Up Pass is a monthly cancel anytime tool for you to be able to say, hey, Christina, I would like to come to co-working on Mondays and weekly setup and weekly wrap up so that I can set up my week. I can break my week down. I can set my priorities for the following week and then have co-working throughout the week where I can work with other people virtually. Gives you some structure. I will tell you, co-working is always on Monday at 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time. So we start off the day. And then our weekly wrap up is on Fridays at 2:30 Eastern. And what we do in the weekly wrap is that we go through how your week went, what worked this week, what didn't. We talk about how to support yourself, how you can improve. And then we go through the process of what was completed, what was not. And then we move on to what are your top priorities for the following week. If that's something that it sounds appealing to you, go ahead and go down to theneurodivergent.com/bio and click on Power Up Pass. And yeah, it's cancel anytime. It's no commitment in there. It's really meant to be a place where you can get structure. If you're looking for a little bit more structure, the Achievement Lab is deeper group coaching over the course of 8 weeks or 2 months and includes system setup, accountability, all the things with the Power Up Pass. And it really does have education that helps you understand why habits, why achievement has been evasive. Maybe you know that you're challenged with certain projects and tasks and you just need additional support. The Achievement Lab is a great place to start. If you want my support building your own personal productivity system, that is definitely a one-on-one conversation. I do have laser strategy sessions you can also find on my page that is linked below. And we can start by tackling 1 or 2 top priority and challenges that you have, and you can leave with a plan and next steps. So today, I hope that you are focused on productivity and not just efficiency and speeding through everything. if you are looking for one thing to take away from this video, I hope it's knowing that as you develop your routines, developing a good, better, best model will help you hold on to those routines longer and help you go back into them when you fall off, especially for things like vacation or being sick. Those are great ways to approach routines and habits. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. I'll see you online. If you've got questions, don't be afraid to shoot me an email, Christina@neurodivergentventures.com.